The fluorescent lights hummed softly over the cereal aisle of Miller's Market as Officer David Martinez made his routine patrol through the grocery store, greeting familiar faces and ensuring that all was well in his community. At 42 years, old David had been serving as a police officer for 15 years, and he had learned to notice things that others might miss, the small details that sometimes revealed bigger problems. As David walked down the cereal aisle, he noticed a man shopping with a little girl who appeared to be about 5 years old. The child wore a bright pink dress and had blonde hair pulled back with small clips. But there was something about her posture and expression that caught David's attention. While most children her age would be chattering excitedly or asking for their favorite cereals, this little girl was unusually quiet and seemed to stay very close to the man beside her. The man appeared to be in his 30s and was dressed casually in jeans and a gray shirt. He moved through the store with the efficiency of someone following a specific list, occasionally speaking to the little girl in low tones that David could not quite hear from his position several aisles away. As David continued his patrol, he found himself unconsciously keeping track of the man and child, though he could not put his finger on exactly why they had captured his attention. It was during his years of experience that had taught him to trust his instincts, even when he could not immediately explain them. It was when David passed by the end of the cereal aisle again that he saw something that made his blood run cold. The little girl, while still holding the man's hand and appearing to be a normal child with her guardian, had raised her other hand in what looked like an innocent wave. But David recognized the gesture immediately from the community safety training that schools had been teaching children over the past few years. The child was making the signal for help hand gesture, a silent distress call that had been developed to help people, especially children, communicate that they needed assistance when they could not speak freely. The gesture involved tucking the thumb into the palm and then folding the fingers over it, creating a subtle but unmistakable signal for those who knew what to look for. David's heart began to race as he realized that this little girl was asking for help in the only way she could while remaining undetected by the man beside her. His training kicked in immediately, and he began to carefully position himself to observe the situation without alerting the man to his presence. David followed at a discreet distance as the man and child moved through the store, noting that the little girl continued to make the distress signal whenever she thought no one was looking. The man seemed unaware of her actions, focused on his shopping and occasionally checking his phone. When the pair reached the checkout line, David made his move. He approached casually as if he were simply making conversation with fellow shoppers. "Good afternoon," David said to the man, with a friendly smile. "Beautiful day for grocery shopping. Is this your daughter?" The man looked up with a slightly startled expression. "Oh yes, this is Emma. We are just picking up a few things." David knelt down to Emma's level, speaking in the gentle tone he used when talking to children in the community. "Hello, Emma. That is a very pretty dress you are wearing. Are you having a good day shopping with your dad?" Emma looked at the man, then back at David and very carefully, while appearing to simply be adjusting her hair, made the distress signal again. This time, David was certain of what he was seeing. "You know what, Emma?" David said, standing up and addressing the man. "I am Officer Martinez, and I work here in the community to keep everyone safe. Would it be all right if I talked with you and Emma for just a minute? There is a quiet area near the customer service desk where we could chat." The man's expression grew tense. "Officer, is there a problem? We are just shopping." David maintained his friendly demeanor, but positioned himself between the man and the exit. "No problem at all, sir. It is just routine. I like to meet the families in our community, especially when I see children. It will only take a moment." As David gently guided them toward the customer service area, he used his radio to quietly call for backup, speaking in the coded language that would bring additional officers without alerting anyone nearby to a potential emergency. In the privacy of the store manager's office, with backup officers stationed discreetly nearby, David was able to speak with Emma separately from the man who claimed to be her father. Within minutes, it became clear that Emma was not with a family member, but had been taken from a playground 3 days earlier while her real father was at work. Emma, who had learned about the signal for help at her school, had been waiting for an opportunity to use it when she saw David in his uniform. Her quick thinking and brave use of the distress signal had potentially saved her life and reunited her with her family. The man who had taken Emma was arrested immediately, and within an hour Emma was safely reunited with her father, who had been searching desperately for her with the help of police and volunteers throughout the community. "Emma," David said as he knelt beside her in the hospital where she was being checked by doctors. "You are the bravest little girl I have ever met. You remembered what you learned in school and you used it at exactly the right time." Emma, now safely in her father's arms, looked at David with the kind of trust that children reserve for people who have proven themselves to be true protectors. "Officer Martinez, I was scared, but I remembered that the signal was supposed to help people find me if I was in trouble." David felt tears prick his eyes as he realized how close they had come to missing this opportunity to save Emma. "You did exactly the right thing, Emma. You should be very proud of yourself." Emma's father, a construction worker named Michael, shook David's hand with tears streaming down his face. "Officer Martinez, I do not know how to thank you. When Emma disappeared, I thought I might never see her again." David looked at this reunited family and felt the deep satisfaction that came from knowing his training and instincts had made a life-changing difference. "Mr. Thompson, Emma saved herself by being smart and brave. I was just in the right place at the right time to see her signal." In the weeks that followed, Emma's story became a powerful example of how community safety education could save lives. The Signal for Help program was expanded throughout the region, and Emma herself became a spokesperson for teaching other children about staying safe and knowing how to ask for help when they could not speak freely. 6 months later, at a community safety event where Emma was being honored for her bravery, David reflected on how a simple hand gesture had prevented a tragedy and brought a family back together. Emma Thompson showed us that sometimes the smallest signals can have the biggest impact. David told the gathered crowd of parents, teachers, and community members. Her courage and quick thinking remind us why it is so important to teach our children that there are always people watching out for them and that help is available if they know how to ask for it. Emma, now 6 years old and thriving in school, took the microphone with the confidence of a child who had faced something terrible and emerged stronger. "I want to tell all the kids that if you are ever in trouble and cannot talk, remember the signal. There are good people like Officer Martinez who are watching and will help you if you let them know you need it." As David watched Emma speak to the crowd with her father beaming proudly beside her, he was reminded of why he had become a police officer in the first place. It was not just about enforcing laws or catching criminals, but about being alert to the people in his community who needed protection, especially the most vulnerable. The signal for help had worked exactly as it was designed to, creating a silent communication between a child in danger and a trained adult who knew how to respond. Emma's story had become a testament to the power of community education and the importance of teaching children that they always have options, even in the scariest situations. Sometimes, David reflected, the most important conversations happen without words, and sometimes a small hand gesture can be the most powerful communication of all. Connecting a child who needs help with an adult who is ready to provide it. Bridging the gap between danger and safety with nothing more than fingers carefully arranged to say what words cannot safely express.